wasn't even really planning on recording something maybe today, but here we are. So hello, welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. My name is Diane, and today is the 29th of January, 2020. 2020! Oh my gosh, crazy. I am sitting here with my puppy, Sophie, and she is looking at me like, yes, you said my name. Yeah, so we are just going to talk knitting. We're just going to talk knitting. I have been to New York and back since we spoke last. I think last time I podcasted was a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about that I was going to New York and Vogue Knitting Live, and I have been, and it was amazing. I had all the fears, as I spoke of, about, you know, kind of, what is it, imposter syndrome, I guess is the right term, or at least the term that people use. So I was really concerned about just no one buying my yarn, for lack of a better way to say it. And that did not happen. Y'all were amazing. Amazing, amazing. You showed up for me. You showed up for Pam and Dinah at the knitting place. Yeah, just totally amazing. Totally amazing. I cannot say enough thank yous. And if you are in the New York area, they, at the knitting place in Port Washington, New York, so that's on Long Island, I believe. It's almost like I'm pretending to know where things are. I'm pretty sure that Port Washington is on Long Island. But if you go to their shop through the end of the week, then they still have some yarn left, and they're doing a knit along, and you can get all of the information on Instagram, and you can call their store and they'll ship to you. And yeah, so anyway, I'm happy to be back. It was kind of a whirlwind emotionally and physically and everything of the last week and a half to 2 weeks. I was in New York from Thursday to Sunday, and then I got back late Sunday night, and then Monday around noon I found out that my aunt had passed away after a lengthy battle with cancer. And she is a lot of my inspiration for learning to knit. And yeah, so that was really, really hard. As much as we knew that it was coming eventually, it's still, you know, you're never ready totally, right? So then a couple days after I got back in the car with family, and we drove to go to the funeral. So I was gone for another couple of days, and so really I feel like just the last couple of days has been me getting back to work, because there was a big pause on a lot of things last week. I have a couple of ideas, some things that are coming as far as a colorway for her that I think we're going to do a fundraiser for. At the funeral, they asked for donations to St. Jude in lieu of flowers. And so I try to do a fundraiser skein every year. I did not do one last year, but this year, I think that's going to be it. So hopefully soon I will sort of catch up with wholesale orders and some other things that are happening business-wise, and I will be able to dye up a yarn in honor of her, and we can raise some money together for St. Jude. So, so yeah, so now I'm back to work, back to real life, back to knitting, and I'm loving it. So today I'm drinking some kombucha. And I like this one. I do not like watermelon if I'm eating watermelon, but I'm the weirdo that loves anything watermelon flavored, especially the fake flavor, like watermelon bubblegum. That's kind of weird. I don't care. I love it. All right. So enough about watermelons and all the non-essential things. Let's talk knitting. Let's talk works in progress. I have no finished objects. I probably will not have finished objects for a while. As per usual, I think that there must be something that I do when I dye yarn and when I'm knitting color work. And I'm also working out a lot. So who knows? There's a stress or something that's happening in my wrist. I have been consciously trying to not knit very much, if at all, over the last 2 or 3 days, to give my wrist a little bit of rest. And today it's feeling a lot better. I even quit on a couple of workouts at the gym this morning because they were like planks and things where I was going to be putting all of my weight on my wrists, and actually like one at a time, where you're like in a plank and you reach up. And so that's your whole body weight on your hands. And yeah, I knew that would not be a very responsible thing to do. So anyway, all of that to say, I have some knitting since the last time, but I actually haven't worked on it in quite a while. Okay, so the first thing that I will show you is, I think last week I showed off the Manhattan colorway that's brand new in the shop. It was a debut kind of special color at Vogue Knitting Live in New York City. And so the color was called Manhattan. And I cast on a birds of a feather shawl. You guys, I love it. Okay, so this is Manhattan. I just love this so much. Can you see I'm using the same color for the slub and the mohair. So that's the big difference about this, is that I am using slub instead of just like a fingering weight yarn, which slub is fingering weight, but instead of a non-textured fingering weight, I am using a textured fingering weight. So it is slubby and mohairy and all the texture and all the fun. I also prefer, just for me, I tend to gravitate towards the birds of a feather, where the mohair and the main color is the same. And so that's what I did here. Yeah, so this is, again, Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry, and I'm using my Manhattan color, and these are what they look like in the cake. And I do have some skeins. Excuse me, that kombucha is giving me the burps. Really sorry. It's inevitable that I'm going to burp out loud at least once on this podcast. Just saying. I have some mohair. I don't know that you can see, it's at the bottom here. I have some mohair in the Manhattan in stock, and then I have some sock yarn. I don't think I dyed it up on any singles. There's no slub yet. I came back to 3 wholesale orders from Vogue. And so I'm trying to catch up with those wholesale / all the pre-orders for the Hohi shawl, the Cosmopolitan shawl. Which I just have to say, I named that Cosmopolitan because cosmopolitan is like a fancy city word. Like, oh, she's very cosmopolitan. Not after a drink. I mean, I love a good Cosmo, but it was not named for Cosmopolitans. Like, I think I probably would have called it Cosmo, but it's like the fancy word, adjective, descriptor type word, not the drink. Also, Manhattan, the city, not the drink. I got a lot of comments about how my 2 new colors were alcohol related, and I was like, well, I mean, they are names of drinks, but that was not my that was not my inspiration. Okay, so that's one work in progress. Why I felt the need to clarify that, I have no idea, other than I'm just getting a lot of comments about it. And the second work in progress, I really can't show you because it's a test knit. I am testing a sweater for Andrea Mowry that I totally messed up. Truly the worst test knitter ever. Truly, I completely failed on one for Leslie Knit Graffiti last like November, December. I was supposed to have it finished by sometime, I don't know. And like way delayed, way busy, way didn't happen. And yeah, like, and then once I finally started knitting on it, made an enormous error that I could not recover from because it's brioche, and had to rip the entire thing out. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyway, what I can show you, I'm gonna hold this inside out because I don't want to show, we were told not to give details of the design, but I will say it's a sweater. That's pretty obvious here. But I am using Suburban Stitcher yarn. Antique is this color. It's actually Surrey held double. And this lovely tonal brown is Mud Pie, which is a new color in the shop. So that is that. I absolutely love this design. You are going to love this design. I have no idea when it releases, but yes, I've made a big mistake. I had to like email and go, do I keep going? What do I do? Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So that's it for my knitting. Like, not a lot. I keep looking at this only because I will A, get comments about my hair or questions. Yes, it's lighter. And B, I will get questions about my lipstick because I always do. So I came prepared because it's brand new. I got it today. Charlotte Tilbury is now, I will be hard pressed to not, to wear something other than Charlotte Tilbury lipstick forever, infinity. Like, it's truly the best. Okay, so I got, this is Viva la Vergara. It's like a limit, I don't know if it was limited or just like a special run that they did of like celebrity inspired colorways. And so this is Sofia Vergara. And then I have a lip liner, which she calls Lip Cheat. And this is called Bond Girl. And yeah, I love it. It's really good. So that's my lipstick today. That's a Hello Lovely. That's making me happy. Okay, and so let's talk all the things that I got at Vogue. Because remember, I was going to buy nothing. That didn't happen. So my local knit group, because now I have one. Hi, Sugarland Stitchers. For those of you who are local, because again, I know I will get questions, I am in a knit group that is roughly based around Sugarland, but honestly, I think most of us live in the Richmond-Rosenberg area, but we meet in Sugarland. Anyway, It's called the Sugarland Stitchers. There is a Ravelry group, and we meet on Monday evenings at La Madeleine in Town Center in Sugarland, and we meet on Thursdays at the Avalon Diner in Stafford off of 59. So if you are in the area and looking for a knit group, we are lots of fun and love to knit and eat and chat. So please join us. Okay, so my knit group, there are several of us that are going to knit a, what's the sweater I knit last year that everybody knit? The cropped one. Soldotna. And I've already knit one, but I want to knit another one because I really like it. And I wanted to use not Suburban Stitcher yarn because I have a lot of it and I wanted to use some of it. What I did need is I needed 2 colors for the body, like our 2 skeins, matching skeins for the main body, because I was going to make it a little bit longer and I'm not doing the color work, like the little flea stitches in there. I'm just doing, excuse me, there was that burp. Hope you didn't hear it too loudly. I'm just doing stockinette, but I wanted it to look textured and whatever, so I wanted a speckle, and I didn't have 2 skeins of DK matching. So that's what I shopped for at Vogue, and I found it. So this is my body color. This is a brand new colorway that I had been eyeballing on Instagram and her website. Spun right round in the crisp colorway, and I got to meet Renee, which was totally awesome. She is the cutest, truly the cutest thing ever. The Knitting Place booth was right across from the booth that was hosting her, so that was really fun because I got to say hello several times. So this is the body. I also purchased a skein from Cat Sandwich, who I also got to meet for the first time, MJ. That was amazing. And so this is going to be the background of the like arrow colorwork section. This is the light color background. This is the body color. This is a skein of, I feel like this is, it's Mickey. What is her? She does the hand spun that I always get at DFW. Thing for String. This is a Thing for String, and it's a leftover. It's like magenta or something like that. And it has like magenta in the colorway name. But I made a colorwork hat out of this years and years and years ago that I promptly lost. Hope somebody's warm wearing it. So this will be the arrows in that colorwork. I thought that looked good. And then this is like the ribbing and the darkest color. The ribbings and the bottom and the kind of the outlines of the spots. So here is my color palette for my second Soldotna. The reason, well, this I just chose because it was the right color. And then this I already had in stash, but it's Chelsea Luxe. And I got to meet Christina and Miriam, the Chelsea Pearls podcast. And so I felt like, since basically, except for that one little scrap color, it's all New York related, it was the perfect skein to throw in there for this. So that is one project that I got. Okay. The second yarn project that I got, I actually bought this with 0 plan, and I think I have a plan now. A really good one that I'm very excited about. I have watched this yarn dyer from Instagram from afar and drool over her yarn. Like, it is very rare that every single skein that a yarn dyer creates, I would knit with. There's probably like 2 or 3 people out of the thousands of yarn dyers that I say that about, and she is one of them. She's so talented. She like nails my aesthetic with every skein. Not that she's doing that for me, but it just happens. And that's Barnyard Knits. I'd never seen her yarn in person. And these 4 colors just felt like they needed to go together, from light to dark. And I bought them because they screamed at me. And then I came home and I was like, what am I going to do with these? And I'm going to make that, is it sorrel or sorrel? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but it's the sweater that everyone is making right now by, I know Abby Knits and somebody else. They have like a working together under a design name that I can't think of. I feel like there's Fern in the name, but I digress. So, and it's a gradient sweater, and then you hold a strand of mohair with it, and it's got that amazing, like, neat stitch that sort of runs down the yoke. I know you know what I'm talking about because it's everywhere on Instagram right now. And so I have to pick, I'll hold some of my mohair with it. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards like a dark slate blue-gray to hold with this as the mohair. I think that might be great. I don't know. Haven't totally made up my mind, so we will see. And then the last yarn that I bought a very precious special skein from Long Island Yarn and Farm, American raised and spun yarn. This is yarn that truly has to be touched and seen in person to be truly appreciated. This is one skein of a color is called Champagne. Let's see, it's a sport weight, but it's a really plump sport weight. And it is 70% alpaca, 25% wool, 5% nylon. And my intention for this is to knit it into a sweater, I believe that's called Plums or Plum. And I will have either my sport weight or DK, maybe DK. And I might use my new Yak DK base, dyed some sort of color that I haven't decided yet. But this will be the colorwork band that goes around the middle, and then the rest of it will be the Yak color. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it. You can see that gold running through there. It is such a special yarn. So, and it definitely is a pricier yarn. So I purchased one special skein to use as a feature in a project. I visited Lola Bean and was too embarrassed to say hello because I'm weird. And I get so mad at people when not mad, but you know, I like, oh, you should have, you always say hello. And then when it comes to me doing it to other people, I never say hello because I'm too embarrassed. But I got her pens that are her Shelly Can pens. I got the peach and the Vogue New York one. I was gifted by the lovely Dinah, the knitting place. She gave me her pen. I need to put this on a bag. And then some stitch markers. These are the ones that she had Ann Tudor make specifically for Vogue Knitting. And then I think these were from their New Jersey Wool Walk or New York Yarn Crawl or something that they had. I bought this ring, which I feel like I've seen so many people get. It's from Porterness Studio. I was totally enabled by Sharon from the Modern Skein and shamelessly copied her. But I have seen lots of them. Yeah, and so I am enjoying it. I really like it. It's got the little knit stitches. I bought their little pen that says "There will be cake" because I've seen it so many times on their website and just never could justify ordering one pen. That's it. So all the yarn that I didn't intend, but everything has a planned project, which is really, really good. It's pretty impressive, actually. Shop news. There's still the same things in the shop. I have a couple of things that I'm working on. Like I said, I'm working on some wholesale orders, and then after those go out, I will be working on prepping, kind of slow, early prep for DFW and getting things stocked back in the shop. So custom orders are always open, so do not hesitate to send me a custom order request. I probably will be taking the pre-order down for the Cosmopolitan wrap, which is the new Hohi wrap out of my yarn that's on the new Yak DK base. I will probably take that pre-order down at the end of the week. So if you are thinking about it, please go ahead and place that order. That is actually, the way it's in the shop is it's designed where you purchase one skein at a time for however many skeins you decide to use for the wrap. So some of the knitters, some of her test knitters used 4 skeins, some of the test knitters used 5. And so whatever you think you want for that wrap, then you just place the order for the appropriate number of skeins. Or if you want that yarn, but you want to knit a sweater with it, then order 6 or 7 or just 2 for a shawl or, you know, whatever. I made it that way since it's kind of like the new base. You can order whatever. And there are a limited number of colors that it is available with. So it's just 7 colorways right now because it takes the dye so differently. Yeah. Upcoming events. Like I said earlier, I still have the trunk show ongoing at the knitting place in Port Washington, New York. I have, this isn't my event, but it's sort of, I mean, adjacent to my event, is that Dinah from the Knitting Place and Sharon from the Modern Skein are co-hosting a portage sweater knit along between their 2 shops, and a lot of people are using Suburban Stitcher DK yarn for that. So if you want to place an order for that, that would be, gosh, can you imagine that in the Yak? What? That would be amazing. Yeah, so if you want to place an order for DK, I know that I'm out of a lot of DK in the shop, but you can place a custom order for that, and that's the perfect thing because then I'm dyeing your sweater quantity altogether. So you can feel free to do that, or shop at either one of those stores. If you're local, you can go pick out your yarn in person. What else is happening? The next big in-person event after that is DFW Fiber Fest at the very, very beginning of April. I turn 40 on March 31st, you guys. I'm probably going to say that every week. I turned 40 this year. In the year 2020, which equals 40, I turned 40. That feels really cool. I'm ready to be 40. I'm ready. I'm not afraid of a number or an age. I think it's awesome. I mean, I have lived almost 40 years. It's time to be 40. And I feel great. I still feel young. So it's good to be 40. Almost 40. Not there yet. Almost 40. Yeah, I think that's really it to speak of. After DFW, we've got Houston Fiber Fest in June. I am not going to Zombie Knitpocalypse this year. I've had a lot of questions and emails about that. I am not going up to my normal Minnesota show, which I've done for the last 4 or 5 years. I will be at Houston Fiber Fest, which is that exact same weekend, but it's local for me. So I'm really excited to hang with the local people. What else is happening? And then after that, I have a trunk show for the Yarn Trail, which is the 2nd year of the Houston area yarn crawl. And that is the end of April. And I'll be at the Modern Skein for that one. I think that's it, you guys. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to just fill up the shop with all of the beautiful things for you guys. And yeah, I'm so inspired. I left New York so inspired, and I'm really ready to buckle down and get dyeing again and get knitting again and hang out with you guys a little more. So I hope you're ready to hang out with me too. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Oh, I'm saying bye, but before I say bye, I've either put it in before or maybe I'll put it in after. I don't know. I'll put it in wherever it makes sense. I think I have 1 or 2 videos from Vogue. Maybe. I was really, really busy because that show, no other show that says that it's busy or full or packed, including Rhinebeck, because Rhinebeck is open, outdoor. No other show ever is as busy as that show that I've attended. Some of it's probably that it's in ballrooms and it's indoors and it feels more closed in, but truly so busy, which is amazing. So anyway, okay, until next time, bye. Good morning. This clock is 3 minutes fast. It's 2:58 a.m. and I am in the car on the way to the airport to go to Vogue. It is entirely too early, but this is what you do. So I'm freshly showered, no makeup. Hopefully I can hang all day today.